The storm surrounding George Abercrombie, the president-elect of the Oxford Union, has become a case study in free speech, political violence, its collision with institutional representation. It began with the leaked messages in which Abercrombie appeared to celebrate the assassination of the American conservative activist Charlie Kirk in a WhatsApp group. And his defenders insisted that these were impulsive remarks posted before Kirk's death was confirmed. His critics argue that they are disqualifying for someone about to lead Britain's most famous debating society. The response has been swift and international. Ted Kraos today has compared Abercrombie's behaviour to someone donning a Ku Klux Klan robe, while Liz Truss called for his expulsion from the university itself. Alumni have launched impeachment proceedings within the union, and speakers such as Josh Wolfe have cancelled appearances. Even Elon Musk amplified the story to tens of millions online. In contrast, figures such as Baroness Amos, Abercrombie's college head, have refused disciplinary action on grounds of free speech, and Lord Young of the Free Speech Union defended his right to be offensive but lawful. The wider context is important. The Oxford Union has long courted controversy by inviting divisive speakers, but what distinguishes this case is that the controversial words came not from an external guest, but from its incoming leader, and the union thrives on the ability to attract global figures, politicians, writers, artists, who assume a baseline of civility in debate. Abercrombie's glee at Kirk's shooting directly undermines that trust. James Price, a former union president, describes it as psychotic and resigned from the union's trust in protest. Yet we should recognise another danger: the radicalised or the racialised vitriol Abercrombie has faced since his comments surfaced. The Oxford African and Caribbean Society has documented threats and abuse, including calls for him to be deported. That's unacceptable. A foolish comment cannot justify racist persecution. The union itself has had to condemn both his remarks and the abuse directed against him. At its core, this controversy asks two questions. First, does a private comment, albeit one leaked to the press, fatally compromise the moral authority of a union president? Second, where should the line fall between free speech and fitness for office? Universities should not punish students for offensive opinions, but leadership of the Oxford Union is not a right, it's an honour requiring judgment, restraint and credibility. To chair debates on war, democracy and freedom, one must not appear to revel in the murder of an opponent. Charlie Kirk's assassination was itself a tragedy, an act of political violence against someone whose stock in trade was dialogue, however heated. To celebrate such violence corrodes the very purpose of debate. Abercrombie's defenders say he was unprocessed, reactive, and shaped by anger at Kirk's rhetoric, but leadership is precisely about the ability to resist impulse in the face of provocation. Oxford now stands at a crossroads. To expel Abercrombie from the university would be an overreach inconsistent with free speech, and it would push the university into messing around with student clubs. But to allow him to proceed unchallenged to the presidency of the union risks discrediting the institution and the wider university itself. The most honourable course, even one sympathetic commentators like Camilla Tomini have suggested, would be for him to step aside voluntarily, to reflect and perhaps return to leadership later in his career. The philosopher Isaiah Berlin once warned against confusing liberty with license, and the freedom to speak carries no automatic entitlement to preside. The union must decide if it values not only the right to speak, but also the duty of its leaders to protect the spirit of rational opposition.